here. Okay. Okay. Oh boy, it is morning time. I thought we would do something a little bit different today because I feel more at peace whenever I'm in my spa environment. And you probably are the same, right? It's like whenever you walk into a different space at home or work or wherever it is, even outside, it always makes you feel a little differently. And I notice that when I come into my spa, I'm coming in to most times serve other people, which takes me out of my head space. And Minnie, who is the least calm of all of us, is joining us. Hopefully, some of this calming, nervous system calming will rub off on little Minnie. But she does have a window here and she does see our neighbors walk by in bikes. So if she decides to bark, we're just going to keep going. We're not going to edit. We're not going to edit out little me. So, one of the first things that I've noticed is whenever I am either going to sleep or waking up in the morning, that is the best time for me to receive whatever it is that I want to subconsciously embody. So if it's at night and if it's conducive to your lifestyle, you can sleep with some type of meditation, hypnosis. I know that can sound a little woo woo, but I'm here to tell you, as a small business owner, and I know there's so many of you out there that share similar stresses, regardless of who you work for. And most certainly, if you are working for yourself, just trying to make it in America, raising kids, doing all the things, taking care of a home, it is stressful. No one is exempt from stress. So, one thing that I've noticed is how the mind can just take over and just start spinning and doing all of the stuff that we didn't actually consciously sign up for. So think of this nighttime meditation or hypnosis as something that helps you reset your mind without realizing you're doing it, right? Whenever we are in our environment every day, we are making unconscious decisions left and right without even knowing that we're making them because we're wired to do those things. So at night, it's a perfect opportunity when your mind is sort of free flowing, when it's open, when it's not met with all of the crazy things that life is throwing at you, and it's a peaceful time. It's really the best time to sort of let your mind absorb those things. So that's just one way that you can start to reset your nervous system. And not just that, whether it's listening to meditative music, those things tend to feel like sort of a brain cleanse to me. There's different types. Sometimes at night, I might want to focus on wealth and career. Sometimes it's letting go of old belief systems. Sometimes it's just anxiety and resetting the nervous system. So sometimes it's like, okay, control over cravings, that thing in my mind where I want to go for the sweet stuff, but I know I'm pre-diabetic and I shouldn't. So those are some easy and free ways. There's so many available audios here on YouTube, and I'll list some of my favorites below in the description for you if that's helpful. However, in the morning time, I feel like that's such a perfect opportunity for us to do so many things with our brain, with our skin. The stress affects your skin. So let's talk about ways that we can do that. Whenever you wake up in the morning, if you ever woken up a little early and you're just lying there and you're like, I'm a little too tired to get up, but I I know I need to soon. That is the perfect opportunity to grab some earphones and put on whatever it is that's going to help you set the tone for the day. For me personally, I love to put on some type of morning meditation. Like if I'm in a super rush, it'll be 5 minutes. If I'm in a little bit of a rush, it'll be 10 minutes. And if I'm into just my relaxed morning routine, it might look more like 20 minutes. And honestly, it sounds like a lot, but when I'm going to use the analogy of going out and walking or running. I associate I relate to walking or identify with walking more than running because I've never been someone who's liked to run. So whenever I think about walking, there are literally days that I do not feel like going out because maybe I'm lazy, maybe I'm tired, maybe I ate too much, maybe it's the time of the month. There's so many reasons. Maybe my iron level is lower than it needs to be. Like there's so many reasons why I'm not going to feel motivated. So it's really, you're doing yourself a disservice to rely on motivation. Instead, you go out and you tell yourself, I'm just going to walk for 5 minutes, right? That's what I do with my meditation. I'm just going to walk or meditate for 5 minutes, because once you start doing it, you realize how good it makes you feel. And then you just want to do more of it. So now when I look at even a 20-minute meditation, I'm like, that I view that as a short meditation, where I used to view a 5 or 10 minute meditation as a long meditation. Same with walking. So the reason I bring that up is because the hardest part sometimes is just to start, because you're like, is this really going to work? My husband confided in me that he has a really hard time believing that just listening to things like that is really going to make a difference. And I get it. And if you feel that way, I used to be there too. So I just want to encourage you that if you feel like you need to make a shift, if you feel like you're more stressed out than you need to be, maybe you're more anxious than you need to be, maybe you're dealing with something that's bigger than yourself, which is usually all of us at some point in our lives, it's a great practice. Now, one thing I like to do is I like to do this breathing exercise. You basically breathe in for 4 seconds, and then you just breathe out more than 4 seconds. So instead of saying you have to breathe in for 4 seconds and out for 7 seconds, the idea is just to breathe in for a shorter period of time. You'll just hold it for a couple seconds, and you breathe out for a longer period of time. And this will help relax and regulate your nervous system. So I like to start off with a couple of those deep breaths, and that really can get me into that state, whether I'm listening to anything or not. Another thing that I love to do is, this tapping. You can make a fist if you're just listening to this, and you tap on the chest area right above your breast, where that breastbone is. You just give it several good taps. If you're listening to me, you can kind of hear my voice right now as I'm tapping. And then what you want to do is you want to tap down. I'm using different arms here. I don't want to mess up my mic. Normally you would use this arm right here, the opposite arm for the opposite breastbone and shoulder. And then you're going to start tapping down the arm with your fist. Sorry. And the idea is to sort of shake out that energy, whatever is holding you, whatever is holding on in your body, just to shake it out. If you've ever had a massage and had any energy work, you may have felt a healer do that to you before, but you can do this to yourself and it's totally free. So now we have the music, meditation, hypnosis, whatever feels good for you, affirmations at night and or in the morning, a couple of deep breaths to regulate our nervous system, maybe a couple little taps to move things out of our body and shake it out. And another thing that I like to do is if I feel a lot of tension in my face, if you're dealing with sinus issues, if you're dealing with those, we knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. It's okay, Minnie. It's okay. We knew it was going to happen eventually. If you are dealing with seeing those wrinkles show up due to stress, because we tend to carry a lot of that tension in our face. Aging is normal. Stress is actually can be a healthy, normal thing, but too much of it can be debilitating, and it can lead to things like premature aging. Right? It's not just the normal wrinkles that occur; it's the tension that is causing your muscles to tense up and the skin to wrinkle, or cause the appearance of wrinkles over those muscles. So, one thing you can do is there's lots of exercises that we will get into on different days. But for today, I just want to focus on the simplicity of how you can do certain massages in your face in the morning that can really cause you to have smoother looking skin without all of these crazy things, that come with a lot of risks, I should say. Right? If we're considering or doing Botox, those things come with a large price tag and a lot of risk. This isn't to scare anyone. This is just, as a licensed esthetician, as someone who's been in the beauty industry for like a few decades. I'm also oncology certified. I've been around the block a time or two when it comes to dealing with skin and hearing stories. And to me, it's just not worth the risk. So, with that said, you do whatever. This is just information. You do with whatever feels good and whatever works best for you. But I feel like I always say, the more you know, the more you glow. So I feel like it's best to be educated before we make those big decisions, especially when we can do things like this for free in the comfort of our own home. So one easy exercise that I like to do, it's actually not an exercise. It's actually it's going to be a massage. We're going to do massage, acupressure, and facial exercises all mixed in. But first, we're going to take the ball of our wrist and we're going to apply it right around where we have those 11 lines. So you can do this on the actual line that's forming or around the area, but you're just going to apply pressure on your forehead, in between the eye area, wherever you feel the most tension. Apply the pressure, and then you're just going to roll around your wrists while you're applying pressure. And you're not going to be moving your hand up and down or side to side. It's literally taking the I can't use wrist, and rolling it around and applying pressure. Okay. And you're going to feel the muscle crunching up. You're going to feel, which I kind of like. I like hearing it. You're going to hear it. And you're going to feel it crunch around underneath your skin. And that, my friend, I turned 50 this year. I've been doing it. I mean, sometimes I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes I have slacked at certain times in my life and I have forgotten, but most days, more than none, I would say 80% of the days in the last decade, I've done this. And I've definitely feel that it's kept wrinkles at bay. I've never done any Botox fillers, anything, any injections like that. So just to be fully transparent with you, because I feel like a lot of people that give tips, they may give good tips, but they leave out the fact that they do other things. And here I'm very transparent. Yes, I have dabbled in at-home devices. You see those on my channel. There's some that I recommend depending on what your lifestyle is and what it may be that you're trying to achieve, whether it's red light therapy, microcurrent. Those are a couple of my favorite for sensitive skin and for lifting and toning that have scientific research to support that they can do some of the things that they claim to do. So for me, I just love to use my hands. Again, it's free. It's something that you can do every morning, and it really, really works. So, another thing that I think I'm going to speak for myself, but also I feel like I'm speaking for you at the same time because the neck area outside of the eye area, the neck area is one of those areas that show signs of aging the most. And, besides using things like primer and balms, things that are hydrating, I have a tinted primer that I use in my line. Sometimes I might use a sunscreen that has a primer like quality to it with like a tinted balm over it, something like that can really smooth out the appearance of these lines. Now, the thing is that these lines often are caused by the muscles underneath the neck and not just the skin. So when we tackle it from a topical standpoint, it can only do so much. The same way, whenever you tackle it from a muscle standpoint, it can only do so much. So I'm like, why not do both? This is going to be so simple, so easy, and effective. So, one exercise you can do is you put your hands on your chest area. I'm crossing my hands on my chest area if you're just listening. And then you're going to tilt your head up towards the ceiling. And then while you have your head up towards the ceiling, and you do this very gently, by the way, you'll feel the resistance. And then you're going to take your tongue and you're going to apply it to the roof of your mouth. When you start to do that, you'll feel the resistance, you'll feel the exercise, and that is strengthening the muscle underneath the skin. Now, another thing, I actually make neck oil in my line, so that's what I have right here. Very simple, very beautiful oils that help retain the moisture and help you prevent water loss. And the reason I love this neck oil is because it can be used in so many ways. Yes, you can use it on the face, but I created it for the neck specifically. And I'm just going to apply a little bit over. You can apply it over a moisturizer or a serum. And then you can give yourself a little neck massage. And because of gravity, as we age, everything goes down. So I love to give myself a little bit of massage up. And also, what a beautiful ritual. What a beautiful ritual this is. I just wrote about this in my latest blog post or online. which is how our moms and our grandmas used to use Pond's cold cream. And, it's less about, in today's world, it's less about the actual fact that it was Pond's cream, in my opinion, and it's more about the ritual. The ritual is that they cared for their skin. They realized that moisture was important, and they all did it. They were all, they used it to remove their makeup, they used it to rehydrate their skin overnight and help them retain the moisture. And it was kind of like their 5 minutes of me time, so to speak. So they really understood the ritual. And that, I think, is very resonating behind sort of how we began our, beauty journeys after 1956. So, in today's world, I use other products and ingredients that are not Pond's cold cream. However, I do think there's really something special about looking back at how we started our beauty routines and just reminding ourselves that we don't have to get overwhelmed. It doesn't take a bunch of steps. It doesn't need to be really expensive. It's just about choosing those right little products and moments to treat yourself the way that you deserve to be treated so that you can feel. It's all about feeling. Feel like you're taking care of yourself, and your skin will thank you. Trust me. Be the change that your skin wants to feel. I think that's going to be the motto of today's video. So a little neck oil on top of serum or moisturizer really helps lock in the moisture. It's also a beautiful ritual. You can do that at night or during the day, like I just did. And also, since I have my neck oil here, doing the same thing on your chest is really beautiful as well. I don't want to hit my mic here, but let me kind of, where is that mic? Move it over here. I apologize if the sound gets a little wonky for a second, but just want to really massage that chest area. And it's little things like this that can just make us feel so good. I am giving myself a massage the way that I do whenever I'm doing a facial on someone. It's those little movements. We don't think about giving those to ourselves. Heck, I only think about it because I am a licensed esthetician. And I understand how most people wouldn't think about things like that. But I'm telling you right now, even just doing this along under that collarbone, under in these areas that don't often get a lot of attention, just giving yourself your own massage can feel so good. Hey, if you have someone that wants to give you a massage, more power to you. But if you don't, just know that it's free and it still feels good to do it on yourself. So these are some things that really help me feel more beautiful inside of my beauty routine. And what do you think, Minnie? I think that, we were talking about our surroundings at the beginning of this video about how different places make us feel a certain type of way. If you notice here in my spa room today, or if you're just listening, I have my candle lit over here, something that I smell it, it makes me feel more relaxed. Before I started this video, I sprayed a little bit of this mist in the air that just makes me feel like I can breathe a little bit deeper. This could also be done with an essential oil, something that just makes you feel calm. Lemongrass is a really beautiful essential oil because it has that unique quality of feeling uplifting as well as being relaxing. Lavender is always a fan fave. So, lavender is a beautiful, relaxing oil, whatever feels good to you and your nervous system. I hope this was helpful for you today. And remember, if you like this type of information, please like and subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me. And make sure and set that notification bell. The more you know, the more you glow. Ciao for now.